Q2 2016. Describe the stages of primary succession and provide an example. Answer. Primary succession begins with the colonization of barren land by pioneer species such as lichens. Over time, soil formation and plant growth lead to the establishment of a mature ecosystem. An example is the colonization of newly formed volcanic islands. Q3 2017. How does secondary succession differ from primary succession in terms of species composition and speed of recovery? Answer. Secondary succession occurs in areas with existing soil, allowing for faster recovery and more rapid colonization by plants. It involves the regrowth of vegetation and the restoration of animal populations, often in less time than primary succession, which starts from a bare substrate. Q4 2018. Explain the concept of climax community and its significance in ecological succession. Answer. A climax community is a stable, mature ecosystem that has reached the final stage of succession. It is characterized by a balanced interaction between organisms and their environment. The climax community represents equilibrium and stability within an ecosystem. Q5 2019. Discuss how disturbances affect the trajectory of ecological succession. Answer. Disturbances such as fires, floods, or human activities reset or delay the progression of succession. Secondary succession may follow disturbances, with faster recovery compared to primary succession. Disturbances can also alter species composition, leading to different successional outcomes. Conclusion. Ecological succession is a fundamental process that governs the development of ecosystems over time. Whether occurring on bare rock in primary succession or in a previously disturbed area in secondary succession, the process helps restore ecosystems, create biodiversity, and maintain ecological balance. Understanding the mechanisms of succession is essential for conservation efforts and for predicting the recovery of ecosystems impacted by disturbances. You said. Species diversity, concept of ecotone, edge effects, ecological habitats, and niche. ChatGPT said. Species diversity, ecotone, edge effects, ecological habitats, and niche. Understanding the concepts of species diversity, ecotones, edge effects, ecological habitats, and niches is fundamental to ecology. These concepts help explain the complex relationships between organisms and their environments, as well as how ecosystems function and maintain biodiversity. In this lecture, we will explore each of these concepts in detail, highlighting their significance in ecological studies. 1. Species diversity. Species diversity refers to the variety of different species present in an ecosystem or a particular area. It is one of the key indicators of the health and stability of an ecosystem. Species diversity can be described in two major components. Species richness. This refers to the number of different species present in an ecosystem. Higher species richness indicates greater biodiversity and a more varied ecosystem. Species evenness. This refers to how evenly the individuals are distributed among the different species in an area. An ecosystem with high species evenness will have a more equal distribution of individuals across the species present, while low evenness means some species dominate the ecosystem. Species diversity is crucial for ecosystem stability, as diverse ecosystems are better equipped to withstand and recover from environmental disturbances. High species diversity often correlates with greater resilience and resource utilization efficiency, making ecosystems more sustainable over time. Previous year question. Q1 2017. What are the components of species diversity, and why is it important in ecological studies? Answer. Species diversity is composed of species richness and species evenness. It is important because it reflects the health and stability of ecosystems, with more diverse ecosystems being more resilient to disturbances. 2. Ecotone. An ecotone is a transitional zone between two distinct ecosystems or ecological communities. It is the area where two habitats meet, and it often exhibits characteristics of both adjacent ecosystems. Ecotones are crucial because they act as zones of interaction between different species and provide unique niches for various organisms. Characteristics of ecotones. Higher species diversity. Ecotones tend to have higher species diversity compared to the adjacent ecosystems. This is because they contain species from both neighboring ecosystems, as well as species specifically adapted to the ecotonal environment. Dynamic boundaries. Ecotones are dynamic and can shift depending on environmental conditions, disturbances, and human activities. Example. A forest grassland ecotone is an example of a transitional zone between a forest and a grassland ecosystem. This zone will have species that are adapted to both the forest environment, such as certain trees and understory plants, and the grassland environment, such as grasses and herbaceous plants. Previous year question. Q2 2018. What is an ecotone, and why are ecotones important in an ecosystem? Answer. An ecotone is a transitional zone between two ecosystems, often characterized by high species diversity. Ecotones are important because they provide a range of habitats for various species and facilitate species interactions between different ecosystems. 3. Edge effects. The edge effect refers to the changes in population or community structure that occur at the boundary edge of two different ecosystems or habitats. These changes are often a result of environmental conditions that are distinct to the edge compared to the interior of the habitat. Edge effects can be both positive and negative, depending on the species and their specific requirements. Positive edge effects. Some species thrive in edge habitats because they can utilize resources from both adjacent ecosystems. For example, certain bird species may prefer the edge of a forest where they can find food from both forest and open field habitats. Negative edge effects. Conversely, other species may be negatively impacted by edge effects due to changes in microclimate, predation pressure, or habitat fragmentation. For example, forest interior species may be vulnerable to increased predation or climate changes when they are exposed to the edges of forests. Example. In fragmented forest landscapes, the edge effect may increase the exposure of forest species to sunlight and wind, leading to changes in temperature and humidity at the forest edge. This can reduce the survival rate of certain species that require specific conditions. Previous year question. Q3 2019. What are edge effects, and how do they influence biodiversity in fragmented habitats? Answer. Edge effects refer to changes in ecological conditions at the boundary of different ecosystems. In fragmented habitats, edge effects can lead to altered microclimates and increased predation, which can negatively affect species that depend on interior habitats. 4. Ecological habitats. An ecological habitat is a physical environment in which a species lives, grows, and reproduces. It provides the necessary resources such as food, shelter, and mates, which are essential for the survival of species. A habitat can be as small as a tree cavity or as large as a forest or ocean. Key features of habitats. Resource availability. The availability of resources such as water, food, and nesting sites influences the types of species that can inhabit a particular area. Physical characteristics. Habitats can vary in terms of temperature, light, humidity, and soil types, all of which play significant roles in determining the types of organisms that can thrive in a particular location. Types of habitats. Habitats can be categorized in various ways, including terrestrial habitats, forests, grasslands, deserts, and aquatic habitats, freshwater and marine ecosystems. Previous year question. Q4 2020. Define habitat and discuss its role in species survival. Answer. A habitat is a physical space where a species lives, offering resources necessary for survival such as food, water, and shelter. A suitable habitat ensures a species survival and reproduction. 5. Ecological niche. An ecological niche refers to the role and function of a species within an ecosystem, including its habitat, the resources it utilizes, and its interactions with other species. It is often described as a species job in the ecosystem, encompassing its behavior, diet, reproduction, and interactions with both biotic and abiotic factors. Key aspects of ecological niche. Fundamental niche. The full range of environmental conditions and resources that a species can theoretically use. Realized niche. The actual conditions and resources that a species uses, taking into account competition, predation, and other biotic interactions. Niche partitioning. In ecosystems with high species diversity, species often divide the available resources to avoid direct competition. This process is known as niche partitioning and allows multiple species to coexist in the same environment. Example. Two bird species may live in the same forest, same habitat, but occupy different ecological niches. One species might feed on insects in the canopy, while the other feeds on ground-dwelling insects, thus avoiding competition. Previous year question. Q5 2021. What is an ecological niche, and how does niche partitioning contribute to biodiversity? Answer. An ecological niche is the role of a species within an ecosystem. Niche partitioning refers to the way species divide resources to avoid competition, contributing to higher biodiversity by allowing species to coexist in the same habitat. Conclusion. The concepts of species diversity, ecotones, edge effects, ecological habitats, and niches are central to understanding the functioning and dynamics of ecosystems. They provide insight into how species interact with their environments and with each other, which ultimately affects the structure, stability, and resilience of ecosystems. These concepts are essential for conservation efforts, particularly in understanding how human activities, such as habitat destruction and fragmentation, influence biodiversity and ecosystem health. By studying these ecological principles, we can better manage and protect the planet's ecosystems for future generations. You said. Ecosystem stability and factors affecting stability. Ecosystem services. ChatGPT said. Ecosystem stability and factors affecting stability. Ecosystem services. The stability of an ecosystem is a critical concept in ecology, influencing how ecosystems respond to disturbances and maintain their structure and function over time. Understanding the factors that affect ecosystem stability is essential for effective conservation and management. Additionally, the concept of ecosystem services highlights the importance of ecosystems to human well-being by providing a variety of benefits. 1. Ecosystem stability. Ecosystem stability refers to an ecosystem's ability to maintain its structure, functions, and biodiversity in the face of external disturbances or environmental changes. It is the capacity of an ecosystem to resist or recover from disturbances, such as climatic shifts, natural disasters, or human-induced impacts like pollution or habitat destruction. Types of ecosystem stability. Resistance, the ability of an ecosystem to remain unchanged despite external disturbances. A highly resistant ecosystem shows little to no change in its structure or function in response to disturbances. Resilience, the ability of an ecosystem to recover after a disturbance. A resilient ecosystem may experience some changes or degradation but can return to its original state or a similar stable state over time. Factors influencing ecosystem stability. Biodiversity. Ecosystems with high biodiversity tend to be more stable because diverse species interact in a variety of ways, which helps buffer the effects of disturbances. High biodiversity increases resilience, as different species can take on different roles when others are affected by changes. Trophic complexity. The more complex the food webs and species interactions within an ecosystem, the more stable it tends to be. Complex interactions can help redistribute energy and nutrients, reducing the impact of disturbances. Energy flow and nutrient cycling. Ecosystems that have efficient energy flow and nutrient cycling are generally more stable. Proper cycling of nutrients ensures that resources remain available for organisms, even during disturbances. Species interactions. Positive interactions such as mutualism or symbiosis contribute to stability. For example, pollination by insects supports plant reproduction, and predator-prey dynamics help regulate populations, ensuring the health of the ecosystem. Environmental variability. Ecosystems in regions with stable environmental conditions are typically more stable than those in highly variable or extreme environments. However, ecosystems in fluctuating environments may adapt over time and show resilience. Example, tropical rainforests are known for their high biodiversity, and their complex interactions among species help them maintain stability in the face of disturbances such as storms or fires. Previous year question. Q1 2019 discuss the concept of ecosystem stability and the factors that influence it. Answer. Ecosystem stability refers to the ability of an ecosystem to maintain its structure and function despite disturbances. Key factors influencing stability include biodiversity, trophic complexity, energy flow, nutrient cycling, species interactions, and environmental variability. 2. Ecosystem services. Ecosystem services are the benefits that humans derive from the natural functioning of ecosystems. These services are essential for human survival and quality of life, and they include a wide range of provisioning, regulating, cultural, and supporting services that ecosystems provide. Types of ecosystem services. Provisioning services. These are the products obtained from ecosystems, such as food, water, timber, fuel, medicinal plants, and genetic resources. Provisioning services are critical for human survival and economic development. Example, forests provide timber and fuel, wetlands offer water filtration, and oceans provide fish. Regulating services. These services regulate environmental conditions and help maintain ecosystem balance. They include climate regulation, air quality maintenance, water purification, flood regulation, and disease control. Example, wetlands act as natural buffers against floods by absorbing excess water, while forests sequester carbon, helping to regulate the climate. Cultural services. These are the non-material benefits people gain from ecosystems through recreational, aesthetic, spiritual, and cultural activities. Ecosystems provide opportunities for tourism, outdoor recreation. Ecological footprint. Ecological footprint. Ecological footprint. The ecological footprint is a key concept in human ecology that measures the environmental impact of human activities. It quantifies the amount of natural resources required to sustain human life, including energy, food, water, and waste disposal. Urbanization, industrialization, and population growth contribute to an increasing ecological footprint, leading to resource depletion, pollution, and climate change. Understanding this footprint is essential for sustainable development and managing human impact on the environment. Settlement, formation, and types. Ecosystem services. Ecosystem services. ChatGPT said. Ecosystem stability and factors affecting stability. Ecosystem services. The stability of an ecosystem is a critical concept in ecology, influencing how ecosystems respond to disturbances and maintain their structure and function over time. Understanding the factors that affect ecosystem stability is essential for effective conservation and management. Additionally, the concept of ecosystem services highlights the importance of ecosystems to human well-being by providing a variety of benefits. 1. Ecosystem stability. Ecosystem stability refers to an ecosystem's ability to maintain its structure, functions, and biodiversity in the face of external disturbances or environmental changes. It is the capacity of an ecosystem to resist or recover from disturbances, such as climatic shifts, natural disasters, or human-induced impacts like pollution or habitat destruction. Types of ecosystem stability. Resistance, the ability of an ecosystem to remain unchanged despite external disturbances. A highly resistant ecosystem shows little to no change in its structure or function in response to disturbances. Resilience, the ability of an ecosystem to recover after a disturbance. A resilient ecosystem may experience some changes or degradation but can return to its original state or a similar stable state over time. Factors influencing ecosystem stability. Biodiversity. Ecosystems with high biodiversity tend to be more stable because diverse species interact in a variety of ways, which helps buffer the effects of disturbances. High biodiversity increases resilience, as different species can take on different roles when others are affected by changes. Trophic complexity. The more complex the food webs and species interactions within an ecosystem, the more stable it tends to be. Complex interactions can help redistribute energy and nutrients, reducing the impact of disturbances. Energy flow and nutrient cycling. Ecosystems that have efficient energy flow and nutrient cycling are generally more stable. Proper cycling of nutrients ensures that resources remain available for organisms, even during disturbances. Species interactions. Positive interactions such as mutualism or symbiosis contribute to stability. For example, pollination by insects supports plant reproduction, and predator-prey dynamics help regulate populations, ensuring the health of the ecosystem. Environmental variability. Ecosystems in regions with stable environmental conditions are typically more stable than those in highly variable or extreme environments. However, ecosystems in fluctuating environments may adapt over time and show resilience. Example, tropical rainforests are known for their high biodiversity, and their complex interactions among species help them maintain stability in the face of disturbances such as storms or fires. Previous year question. Q1 2019 discuss the concept of ecosystem stability and the factors that influence it. Answer. Ecosystem stability refers to the ability of an ecosystem to maintain its structure and function despite disturbances. Key factors influencing stability include biodiversity, trophic complexity, energy flow, nutrient cycling, species interactions, and environmental variability. 2. Ecosystem services. Ecosystem services are the benefits that humans derive from the natural functioning of ecosystems. These services are essential for human survival and quality of life, and they include a wide range of provisioning, regulating, cultural, and supporting services that ecosystems provide. Types of ecosystem services. Provisioning services. These are the products obtained from ecosystems, such as food, water, timber, fuel, medicinal plants, and genetic resources. Provisioning services are critical for human survival and economic development. Example, forests provide timber and fuel, wetlands offer water filtration, and oceans provide fish. Regulating services. These services regulate environmental conditions and help maintain ecosystem balance. They include climate regulation, air quality maintenance, water purification, flood regulation, and disease control. Example, wetlands act as natural buffers against floods by absorbing excess water, while forests sequester carbon, helping to regulate the climate. Cultural services. These are the non-material benefits people gain from ecosystems through recreational, aesthetic, spiritual, and cultural activities. Ecosystems provide opportunities for tourism, outdoor recreation, and cultural identity. Example, national parks offer recreational spaces and hold cultural and spiritual significance for indigenous communities. Supporting services. These services are fundamental to the production of all other ecosystem services. They include nutrient cycling, soil formation, photosynthesis, and pollination. Example, pollinators, such as bees and butterflies, are vital for the reproduction of many plant species, including crops, thus supporting food production. Importance of ecosystem services. Ecosystem services are often undervalued in economic terms, but they are essential for maintaining the conditions that support life on Earth. Disruptions to ecosystems, such as deforestation or pollution, can reduce the availability of these services, leading to long-term consequences for both ecosystems and human societies. Many ecosystem services are interdependent. For example, healthy soils support agriculture provisioning service, but also contribute to water filtration and flood regulation regulating services. Human dependency on ecosystem services. Human societies rely heavily on ecosystem services for food, water, clean air, and other resources. The degradation of ecosystems can lead to loss of these vital services, which can have direct and severe consequences on human populations. Previous year question. Q2 2020 explain the concept of ecosystem services and provide examples of provisioning, regulating, and cultural services. Answer. Ecosystem services are the benefits humans derive from ecosystems. Provisioning services include resources like food and water. Regulating services include climate regulation and flood control, and cultural services include recreation and spiritual benefits. Each of these is essential for human well-being and survival. 3. Linking ecosystem stability and ecosystem services. The stability of ecosystems plays a crucial role in maintaining the flow of ecosystem services. A stable ecosystem can consistently provide valuable services over time, whereas ecosystem instability due to disturbances or degradation can disrupt these services. For instance, loss of biodiversity can lead to a decline in provisioning services such as crop production or fish catches, while the loss of habitat can affect regulating services like climate control or water purification. Example, coral reefs are ecosystems that provide valuable services, including supporting fisheries provisioning, protecting coastlines from erosion, regulating, and contributing to tourism cultural. However, coral reefs are highly sensitive to environmental changes such as rising sea temperatures. A decrease in coral health due to climate change reduces the stability of the ecosystem and, consequently, the services it provides. Previous year question. Q3 2021 How does ecosystem stability contribute to the continued provision of ecosystem services? Provide examples. Answer. Ecosystem stability ensures the continuous and sustainable provision of services such as food, water, and climate regulation. For instance, stable forests provide timber and clean water, while stable wetlands regulate floods and purify water. Disruptions to these ecosystems reduce the availability and reliability of these services. Conclusion. Ecosystem stability and the provision of ecosystem services are closely intertwined. Stable ecosystems are more likely to maintain the biodiversity and functional processes that sustain ecosystem services, which are essential for human well-being. As human populations continue to grow and exert pressure on the environment, it becomes increasingly important to protect and restore ecosystems to ensure that these vital services continue to support life on Earth. Understanding the factors that influence ecosystem stability and the importance of ecosystem services is critical for effective conservation and sustainable resource management strategies. You said. Basis of ecosystem classification. Types of ecosystem. Desert, hot, and cold. ChatGPT said. Basis of ecosystem classification and types of ecosystems. Desert, hot, and cold. Ecosystems are classified based on various criteria such as climate, vegetation type, geographical location, and the interactions between biotic and abiotic components. Ecosystem classification helps ecologists study the patterns of biodiversity and understand the distribution of life across the planet. Different types of ecosystems exist on Earth, each with unique characteristics that influence the flora and fauna present. 1. Basis of ecosystem classification. Ecosystem classification is generally based on the following criteria. Climate. Climate is the primary factor influencing the structure and functioning of an ecosystem. It determines the temperature, precipitation, humidity, and seasonal variations, all of which affect the type of vegetation and animal life that can thrive in the ecosystem. Example, tropical rainforests are characterized by high rainfall and temperatures, while deserts experience very low rainfall and temperature extremes. Vegetation type. The dominant vegetation types, such as forests, grasslands, or deserts, are used to categorize ecosystems. Vegetation is influenced by climate, soil composition, and water availability. Example, in temperate zones, broadleaf trees dominate, while in boreal regions, coniferous trees are prevalent. Geographical location. Ecosystems can be classified based on their geographical location, such as terrestrial land-based or aquatic water-based ecosystems. Within terrestrial ecosystems, distinctions are made based on latitude tropical, temperate, polar, and altitude lowland, highland. Example, tropical ecosystems are found near the equator, while polar ecosystems are located in the far north and south of the planet. Abiotic factors. The physical and chemical characteristics of the environment, such as temperature, light, soil type, water availability, and salinity, also influence ecosystem classification. Example, coastal ecosystems are classified based on factors like salinity and tidal influence, while freshwater ecosystems are classified based on water chemistry. Biodiversity. The types of organisms present in an ecosystem, such as flora, fauna, and microorganisms, also define its classification. Ecosystems with high biodiversity, like tropical rainforests, are classified as biodiversity hotspots. Example, coral reefs are highly biodiverse ecosystems found in tropical ocean waters. 2. Types of ecosystems. Desert ecosystems, hot and cold. Desert ecosystems are defined by extreme dryness, with annual precipitation being less than 250 m. Deserts can be further classified into hot deserts and cold deserts based on temperature, climate, and location. Both types of deserts have specialized organisms adapted to survive in harsh conditions. Hot deserts. Climate characteristics. Hot deserts are typically located near the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. These deserts are characterized by high daytime temperatures, often exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, and cooler nighttime temperatures. The climate is extremely arid, with low annual rainfall, usually below 250 millimeters. Example, Sahara Desert, Africa, Mojave Desert, USA, Arabian Desert, Middle East. Vegetation. Vegetation in hot deserts is sparse and adapted to conserve water. The dominant plants include drought-resistant species like cacti, succulents, shrubs, and tough grasses. These plants have specialized features like thick, waxy cuticles to reduce water loss and deep root systems to access groundwater. Example, cacti, creosote bush, and desert lilies are common desert plants. Fauna. Animal life in hot deserts has evolved to survive extreme heat and scarcity of water. Many animals are nocturnal, active during cooler nights. Adaptations include burrowing, reducing water loss, and being efficient in conserving body heat. Common desert animals include reptiles, lizards, snakes, small mammals, kangaroo rats, and insects, beetles, scorpions. Example, the fennec fox adapted for nocturnal life, horned lizards, and camels able to go without water for long periods are typical desert animals. Adaptations. Plants. Succulent plants like cacti store water in their tissues, and others have deep roots or small leaves to minimize water loss. Animals. Many animals are adapted to extreme temperatures and low water availability. They have adaptations like large ears to release body heat, thick skin, and the ability to store fat or water. Previous year question. Q1 2018 discuss the characteristics of hot deserts and the adaptations of organisms living in such ecosystems. Answer. Hot deserts are characterized by extreme heat, low rainfall, and temperature extremes. Organisms in these deserts have adaptations such as nocturnal behavior, water conservation strategies, and specialized physiological mechanisms like water storage in plants and heat tolerance in animals, e.g., camels, cacti. B. Cold deserts. Climate characteristics. Cold deserts are typically located at higher latitudes or altitudes, where winters are cold and temperatures can drop below freezing. These deserts receive very little precipitation, but it may occur snow during winter. The climate is characterized by cold winters, cool summers, and low humidity. Example, Gobi Desert, Asia, Great Basin Desert, USA, Patagonian Desert, Argentina. Vegetation. Vegetation in cold deserts is sparse and consists mainly of drought-tolerant grasses, shrubs, and hardy plants that can survive in cold, dry conditions. These plants have adapted to withstand freezing temperatures and lack of water during the winter months. Example, sagebrush, saltbush, and desert grasses are common in cold deserts. Fauna. The fauna in cold deserts is adapted to survive extreme cold and food scarcity in winter. Common animals include herbivores like rabbits and rodents, as well as predators such as foxes and birds of prey. Many animals hibernate or migrate during the harsh winter months. Example, the Mongolian gerbil, desert tortoises, and mountain lions are examples of animals in cold deserts. Adaptations. Plants. Cold desert plants have adapted to survive under freezing conditions by growing low to the ground, where they are protected from the cold winds. Some also have specialized leaves to reduce moisture loss during the short growing seasons. Animals. Cold desert animals are adapted for cold climates with thick fur or feathers. They may hibernate to avoid the harsh winters or migrate to warmer regions during the coldest months. Previous year question. Q2 2020 describe the characteristics of cold deserts and discuss the adaptations of plants and animals to cold desert conditions. Answer. Cold deserts are characterized by cold winters, dry conditions, and low precipitation. Adaptations include low-growing plants, which are insulated from the cold, and animals with thick fur or feathers. Some animals hibernate or migrate to avoid harsh winters, like the Mongolian gerbil and mountain lions. Conclusion. Desert ecosystems, both hot and cold, represent some of the most extreme environments on Earth. Hot deserts experience high temperatures and extreme aridity, while cold deserts are marked by harsh winters and low precipitation. Both types of deserts require organisms to have specialized adaptations to survive the tough conditions. Understanding these ecosystems, their classification, and the adaptations of organisms helps us appreciate the resilience of life in some of the planet's most challenging environments. You said. Forest, rangeland, wetlands. ChatGPT said. Forest, rangeland, and wetland ecosystems. Ecosystems are diverse, with each type having unique characteristics and vital ecological functions. Forest, rangeland, and wetland ecosystems are three of the most prominent terrestrial ecosystems, each contributing significantly to biodiversity, climate regulation, and the sustenance of various plant and animal species. Below, we explore the fundamental characteristics of these ecosystems, focusing on their structure, functions, and the organisms they support. 1. Forest ecosystems. Forest ecosystems are some of the most diverse and complex ecosystems on Earth. They play an essential role in regulating the global climate, providing habitat for countless species, and supporting numerous ecological processes such as nutrient cycling and carbon storage. Characteristics of forest ecosystems. Climate. Forests are usually found in regions with moderate to high rainfall tropical, temperate, and boreal forests. Temperature ranges depend on the forest type, with tropical forests experiencing high temperatures year-round, temperate forests having distinct seasons, and boreal forests taiga experiencing long, cold winters. Tropical rainforests, found near the equator, characterized by high temperatures and rainfall year-round. Temperate forests experience 4 distinct seasons and are primarily located in the northern hemisphere. Boreal forests, found in the northernmost regions of the Earth, experiencing cold winters and short, cool summers. Vegetation. Forests are dominated by trees and shrubs, with different types depending on the climate. Tropical rainforests have dense, multi-layered vegetation with a high diversity of plant species. Temperate forests are characterized by deciduous trees, while boreal forests are dominated by coniferous trees like pine and spruce. Fauna. Forest ecosystems support a wide range of animals, including herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Species vary by forest type, with tropical rainforests hosting species like jaguars, monkeys, and toucans, while temperate forests might have deer, wolves, and owls. In boreal forests, animals such as moose, bears, and various bird species thrive. Key functions of forest ecosystems. Carbon sequestration. Forests play a crucial role in regulating the Earth's climate by absorbing carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, thereby mitigating climate change. Water regulation. Forests influence the water cycle by maintaining hydrological balance, controlling water runoff, and improving soil quality. Biodiversity hotspots. Forests are home to a vast array of species, many of which are endemic and cannot be found anywhere else. Previous year question. Q1 2019 discuss the ecological importance of tropical rainforests and their role in climate regulation. Answer. Tropical rainforests play a vital role in regulating the global climate through carbon sequestration. They absorb large amounts of CO2, which helps mitigate climate change. Additionally, they support an immense diversity of species and maintain global water cycles through transpiration and precipitation. 2. Rangeland ecosystems. Rangeland ecosystems are land areas dominated by grasses, shrubs, and small plants that are used primarily for grazing by herbivores. Rangelands include grasslands, savannas, prairies, and steppes, and are vital for agriculture and biodiversity. Characteristics of rangeland ecosystems. Climate. Rangelands are typically found in regions with moderate to low rainfall, often between 250 millimeters and 900 millimeters annually. The climate is usually dry, with some rangelands experiencing cold winters or hot summers. Example: the Great Plains in North America and the savannas of Africa are iconic rangelands. Vegetation. Dominated by grasses, herbs, and shrubs, rangelands have vegetation that is adapted to withstand grazing pressures and seasonal droughts. The plant species are generally drought tolerant and have deep root systems to access groundwater. Example: species like bluegrass, buffalo grass, and sagebrush are common in rangeland ecosystems. Fauna. Rangelands support large populations of herbivores such as bison, antelope, cattle, and various species of ungulates. These areas also support carnivores, including wolves, lions, and cheetahs, which depend on the herbivore populations for food. Key functions of rangeland ecosystems. Grazing and livestock. Rangelands are crucial for livestock farming. They provide grazing grounds for cattle, sheep, and other domesticated animals. Biodiversity. While often seen as primarily agricultural land, rangelands also support important wildlife, including migratory birds, small mammals, and predators. Soil conservation. Healthy rangeland ecosystems help prevent soil erosion, as the root systems of grasses and plants bind the soil and prevent it from washing away. Previous year question. Q2 2017 explain the significance of rangeland ecosystems in biodiversity conservation and agriculture. Answer. Rangeland ecosystems are important for both biodiversity and agriculture. They provide grazing areas for livestock, which is essential for the agricultural economy, while also serving as habitats for wildlife, including migratory birds and large herbivores. Proper management of rangelands ensures that soil erosion is minimized and biodiversity is maintained. 3. Wetland ecosystems. Wetland ecosystems are areas where water saturates the land, either permanently or seasonally. These ecosystems include marshes, swamps, bogs, and fens and are vital for water purification, flood regulation, and providing habitat for a diverse array of species. Characteristics of wetland ecosystems. Climate. Wetlands can be found in a variety of climates, from tropical to temperate regions. The key factor is the presence of standing or slow-moving water, which makes the land saturated for part or all of the year. Example: the Everglades in Florida, USA, are tropical wetlands, while the Okavango Delta in Botswana is a seasonal wetland. Vegetation. Wetlands support a diverse range of plants, particularly aquatic plants like reeds, cattails, and sedges. The vegetation varies depending on water depth, salinity, and the climate. Freshwater wetlands are dominated by marsh grasses and trees like willows and cottonwoods, while saltwater wetlands, mangroves, and salt marshes host plants like mangrove trees and cordgrass. Fauna. Wetlands support an abundance of wildlife, including amphibians, fish, birds, and invertebrates. Migratory birds use wetlands as stopovers, and species such as frogs, beavers, and alligators are common in freshwater wetlands. Saltwater wetlands provide habitat for marine life, including crabs, mollusks, and fish. Key functions of wetland ecosystems. Water purification. Wetlands act as natural filters, trapping pollutants and improving water quality by removing excess nutrients, toxins, and sediments from water. Flood regulation. Wetlands absorb excess water during heavy rainfall or snowmelt, reducing the risk of floods by storing water in their soil and plant life. Biodiversity. Wetlands are among the most productive ecosystems, supporting a wide variety of species. They are especially important for migratory birds and aquatic life. Previous year question. Q3 2020 discuss the ecological importance of wetlands and their role in flood control and water purification. Answer. Wetlands are ecologically important because they act as natural filters, improving water quality by trapping pollutants. They also provide flood control. Wetland ecosystems. Wetland ecosystems are areas where water saturates the land, either permanently or seasonally. These ecosystems include marshes, swamps, bogs, and fens and are vital for water purification, flood regulation, and providing habitat for a diverse array of species. Characteristics of wetland ecosystems. Climate. Wetlands can be found in a variety of climates, from tropical to temperate regions. The key factor is the presence of standing or slow-moving water, which makes the land saturated for part or all of the year. Example: the Everglades in Florida, USA, are tropical wetlands, while the Okavango Delta in Botswana is a seasonal wetland. Vegetation. Wetlands support a diverse range of plants, particularly aquatic plants like reeds, cattails, and sedges. The vegetation varies depending on water depth, salinity, and the climate. Freshwater wetlands are dominated by marsh grasses and trees like willows and cottonwoods, while saltwater wetlands, mangroves, and salt marshes host plants like mangrove trees and cordgrass. Fauna. Wetlands support an abundance of wildlife, including amphibians, fish, birds, and invertebrates. Migratory birds use wetlands as stopovers, and species such as frogs, beavers, and alligators are common in freshwater wetlands. Saltwater wetlands provide habitat for marine life, including crabs, mollusks, and fish. Key functions of wetland ecosystems. Water purification. Wetlands act as natural filters, trapping pollutants and improving water quality by removing excess nutrients, toxins, and sediments from water. Flood regulation. Wetlands absorb excess water during heavy rainfall or snowmelt, reducing the risk of floods by storing water in their soil and plant life. Biodiversity. Wetlands are among the most productive ecosystems, supporting a wide variety of species. They are especially important for migratory birds and aquatic life. Previous year question. Q3 2020 discuss the ecological importance of wetlands and their role in flood control and water purification. Answer. Wetlands are ecologically important because they act as natural filters, improving water quality by trapping pollutants. They also provide flood control by absorbing excess water during heavy rainfall. Furthermore, wetlands support a wide range of biodiversity, including migratory bird species and aquatic organisms. Conclusion. Forest, rangeland, and wetland ecosystems are essential for the balance of global biodiversity and the health of the planet. Forests regulate the climate and water cycles. Rangelands provide essential resources for grazing and wildlife, and wetlands support biodiversity while purifying water and controlling floods. Understanding the characteristics and functions of these ecosystems is critical for their conservation and sustainable management. You said. Lotic, lentic, estuarine, mangrove, oceanic. ChatGPT said. Lotic, lentic, estuarine, mangrove, and oceanic ecosystems. These ecosystems, often referred to as aquatic ecosystems, are vital components of the Earth's biosphere. They play a critical role in supporting biodiversity, regulating climate, and providing numerous ecological services. Below, we explore the characteristics, functions, and significance of lotic, lentic, estuarine, mangrove, and oceanic ecosystems. 1. Lotic ecosystems. Lotic ecosystems refer to freshwater ecosystems characterized by flowing water, such as rivers, streams, and brooks. These ecosystems are dynamic and constantly moving, influencing the species that live within them. A characteristic of lotic ecosystems. Water flow. Lotic ecosystems are defined by flowing water, which can range from fast-moving streams to slow rivers. The flow of water impacts the physical and chemical properties of the ecosystem, including oxygen levels, nutrient cycling, and sediment transport. Vegetation. Vegetation in lotic systems is typically sparse along fast-moving sections, with aquatic plants such as watercress, pondweed, and streamside vegetation growing more abundantly in slower-moving waters. Fauna. Lotic ecosystems support species that are adapted to the dynamic and often turbulent conditions of flowing water. These include fish species such as trout, salmon, and catfish, as well as aquatic invertebrates like mayflies, caddisflies, and freshwater mollusks. Key functions of lotic ecosystems. Water filtration. The constant movement of water in lotic systems helps to filter out pollutants and redistribute nutrients. Nutrient cycling. Rivers and streams transport organic matter and nutrients across landscapes, influencing the ecology of the regions they pass through. Biodiversity. Lotic ecosystems support a wide range of species adapted to the varying flow conditions, contributing to global biodiversity. Previous year question. Q1 2018 discuss the ecological significance of lotic ecosystems and their role in nutrient cycling and biodiversity. Answer. Lotic ecosystems are significant in nutrient cycling by transporting organic matter, nutrients, and sediments from one location to another. This movement fosters biodiversity by providing varying habitats for species that are adapted to different flow rates and oxygen levels. They are critical for the health of downstream ecosystems. 2. Lentic ecosystems. Lentic ecosystems are freshwater systems characterized by still or standing water, such as lakes, ponds, and reservoirs. Unlike lotic ecosystems, lentic systems lack a constant flow of water, leading to different ecological processes and species adaptations. A characteristic of lentic ecosystems. Water stability. Lentic ecosystems are typically stable, with still waters that experience little movement, except for wind-driven currents. This stability affects the stratification of water temperature, oxygen levels, and the accumulation of organic matter. Vegetation. Lentic systems often support dense aquatic vegetation such as lilies, bulrushes, and water lilies, which can form floating mats or submerged root systems. Fauna. These ecosystems support a variety of species including fish base, carp, and perch amphibians, frogs, salamanders, and numerous invertebrates such as water beetles, dragonflies, and freshwater snails. Key functions of lentic ecosystems. Biodiversity support. Lakes and ponds host a wide range of species due to their relatively stable environment, providing habitats for aquatic plants, fish, and invertebrates. Water storage. Lentic ecosystems act as natural reservoirs that store water, often providing water for surrounding ecosystems and human activities. Nutrient cycling. Like lotic systems, lentic ecosystems are vital for nutrient cycling, including the breakdown of organic matter and the recycling of nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. Previous year question. Q2 2019. How do lentic ecosystems contribute to water purification and support biodiversity? Answer. Lentic ecosystems purify water through the natural filtration of sediments and organic matter. They also provide habitats for various species, from aquatic plants to fish and amphibians, thus supporting rich biodiversity due to their stable environmental conditions. 3. Estuarine mangrove ecosystems. Estuarine ecosystems, including mangrove forests, are found where freshwater from rivers meets and mixes with saltwater from the ocean. These coastal ecosystems are characterized by brackish water and are among the most productive ecosystems in the world. A characteristic of estuarine ecosystems, mangroves. Salinity variation. Estuaries are dynamic environments where the salinity fluctuates due to the mixing of freshwater and saltwater, influenced by tides, river flow, and seasonal changes. Vegetation. Mangrove trees dominate estuarine ecosystems, thriving in the saline mudflats. Mangroves have specialized adaptations, including aerial roots called pneumatophores, that allow them to survive in waterlogged, saline soils. Fauna. Estuaries and mangroves are home to a wide array of species, including fish like mullet and snapper, crustaceans such as crabs and shrimp, and a variety of bird species. These ecosystems also support migratory birds and are essential breeding grounds for many marine species. Key functions of estuarine ecosystems, mangroves. Coastal protection. Mangrove forests help protect coastlines from erosion and storm surges, reducing the impact of tropical storms and high tides. Carbon sequestration. Mangroves act as carbon sinks, storing large amounts of carbon in their soil, roots, and vegetation. Nurseries for marine species. Mangrove forests provide critical habitats for juvenile marine species, including fish and crustaceans, which find shelter and food in the mangrove roots before moving to the open ocean. Previous year question. Q3 2020. Explain the ecological significance of mangrove ecosystems and their role in coastal protection. Answer. Mangrove ecosystems play a vital role in coastal protection by stabilizing shorelines and preventing erosion through their root systems. They act as natural barriers to storm surges and high tides, safeguarding coastal communities. Additionally, they are crucial for biodiversity, serving as nurseries for marine life and providing habitat for numerous species. 4. Oceanic ecosystems. Oceanic ecosystems refer to the vast, open ocean that covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface. These ecosystems are the largest on the planet and are critical for global climate regulation, carbon cycling, and supporting a wide range of marine life. A characteristic of oceanic ecosystems. Water depth and salinity. Oceanic ecosystems are characterized by varying depths, from the sunlit surface waters photic zone to the deep, dark waters aphotic zone. Salinity levels are generally uniform, although coastal areas may have variations. Vegetation. Phytoplankton forms the base of the food chain in oceanic ecosystems. These microscopic plants perform photosynthesis, producing oxygen and forming the foundation of marine food webs. Fauna. The oceans support a wide variety of species, including fish, mammals, whales, dolphins, seals, invertebrates, jellyfish, corals, octopuses, and birds. Larger predators, such as sharks, play a key role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. Key functions of oceanic ecosystems. Climate regulation. Oceans play a critical role in regulating the Earth's climate by absorbing large amounts of solar radiation and acting as a heat sink. They also contribute to weather patterns and moisture distribution globally. Carbon cycling. The oceanic ecosystem is one of the largest carbon sinks, absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. Marine organisms, particularly phytoplankton, play a crucial role in the oceanic carbon cycle. Biodiversity support. The ocean supports an immense diversity of life, with complex food webs and intricate relationships between species. Coral reefs, a subset of oceanic ecosystems, are especially important for their biodiversity. Previous year question. Q4 2019 discuss the ecological importance of oceanic ecosystems and their role in global climate regulation. Answer. Oceanic ecosystems are crucial in global climate regulation through their ability to absorb heat and CO2 from the atmosphere. The oceans also drive weather systems and support an array of biodiversity, from plankton to large marine mammals. These ecosystems play a critical role in maintaining the Earth's energy balance. Conclusion. Lotic, lentic, estuarine, mangrove, and oceanic ecosystems are diverse and essential components of the Earth's biosphere. Each of these ecosystems has unique characteristics, from the flowing waters of rivers and streams lotic to the still waters of lakes and ponds lentic to the dynamic mixing of freshwater and saltwater in estuaries and the vast expanses of the ocean. Understanding the functions and ecological significance of these ecosystems is critical for their conservation and sustainable management. You said. Biomes, concept, classification, and distribution. ChatGPT said. Biomes, concept, classification, and distribution. Biomes refer to large, distinct ecological regions on Earth, each defined by its characteristic climate, vegetation, and wildlife. These regions are classified based on climatic conditions, primarily temperature and precipitation, and the types of organisms that thrive in those conditions. Biomes are fundamental to understanding the global distribution of ecosystems and species, as they shape the environments in which various forms of life develop and evolve. 1. Concept of biomes. A biome is a major ecological community that occupies a large geographical area, determined by climate, soil type, and the adaptations of the species that inhabit it. Biomes can be terrestrial or aquatic and are characterized by specific environmental conditions such as temperature, rainfall, and the nature of vegetation. The vegetation types play a central role in defining biomes because they determine the structure of the food web and provide the primary source of energy for the entire ecosystem. Key features of biomes. Climate, temperature, and precipitation are the two key factors that influence biome distribution. Vegetation. Different plant species dominate each biome, which, in turn, supports specific animal species adapted to those conditions. Adaptations. Species in each biome are specially adapted to cope with the environmental conditions, such as drought tolerance in desert plants or cold resistance in tundra animals. 2. Classification of biomes. Biomes can be broadly classified into terrestrial and aquatic biomes. Terrestrial biomes. These are land-based ecosystems, and they are primarily classified according to temperature, precipitation, and vegetation types. The main terrestrial biomes are tropical rainforest. Climate. High rainfall 2,000–10,000 millimeters per year, warm temperatures year-round. Vegetation. Dense forests with tall trees, broad leaves, and a variety of plant species. Fauna. A high diversity of species, including monkeys, birds, amphibians, and insects. Distribution. Found around the equator, particularly in regions like the Amazon Basin, Congo Basin, and Southeast Asia. Savanna. Tropical grassland. Climate. Warm temperatures with a seasonal rainfall pattern 500–1,500 millimeters per year. Vegetation. Grasslands with scattered trees, drought-resistant plants. Fauna. Large herbivores like elephants, giraffes, zebras, and predators such as lions. Distribution. Predominantly found in Africa, India, and parts of Australia. Desert. Climate. Extremely low rainfall, less than 250 millimeters per year, high temperatures during the day, cold at night. Vegetation. Sparse vegetation, including cacti, succulents, and drought-resistant plants. Fauna. Animals adapted to conserve water, such as camels, lizards, and snakes. Distribution. Found in regions like the Sahara Africa, the Arabian Desert, the Gobi Desert Asia, and parts of North America. Temperate grassland. Climate. Moderate rainfall 300–1,000 millimeters per year with hot summers and cold winters. Vegetation. Dominated by grasses, with few trees or shrubs. Fauna. Grazing animals like bison. Distribution. Found in the central United States, prairies, Argentina, Pampas, and parts of Asia steppes. Temperate forest. Climate. Moderate rainfall 650–3,000 millimeters per year with cold winters and warm summers. Vegetation. Deciduous trees like oak, maple, and birch, as well as conifers. Fauna. Deer, bears, foxes, and various bird species. Distribution. Found in eastern North America, parts of Europe, and parts of Asia. Boreal forest taiga. Climate. Cold temperatures, long winters, and short, cool summers. Vegetation. Dominated by coniferous trees such as pine, spruce, and fir. Fauna. Moose, wolves, bears, and lynxes. Distribution. Found in Canada, northern Europe, and Russia. Tundra. Climate. Extremely cold temperatures, with little precipitation, less than 250 millimeters per year. Vegetation. Low-growing plants such as mosses, lichens, and small shrubs. Fauna. Species such as polar bears, reindeer, arctic foxes, and migratory birds. Distribution. Found in the Arctic regions of North America, Europe, and Asia. B. Aquatic biomes. Aquatic biomes are classified into freshwater and marine ecosystems. Freshwater biomes. Lakes and ponds. These are still water bodies that vary in size and depth. They support diverse species of fish, amphibians, and aquatic plants. Rivers and streams. Flowing water bodies that support a wide range of organisms adapted to moving water conditions. Wetlands. Areas of land saturated with water, supporting unique plant species and providing habitats for migratory birds. Marine biomes. Coral reefs. Found in warm, shallow marine waters. These are biodiversity hotspots, supporting various species of fish, corals, and invertebrates. Open ocean. The vast, deep waters of the ocean, home to plankton, fish, whales, and other marine species. Estuaries, where freshwater meets saltwater, providing crucial habitats for many species of fish, shellfish, and birds. 3. Distribution of biomes. Biomes are distributed across the Earth's surface primarily due to the global climate patterns, which are influenced by factors such as latitude, altitude, and ocean currents. Some key distribution patterns include tropical rainforests are found near the equator where temperatures remain consistently warm and rainfall is abundant throughout the year. Deserts are located in regions with low precipitation, typically around 30 degrees north and south of the equator. Temperate forests are found in the mid-latitudes, characterized by moderate temperatures and seasonal rainfall. Boreal forests taiga are found in high-latitude regions, with cold climates and long winters. Tundra ecosystems are found at the poles, characterized by extreme cold and low biodiversity. 4. Previous year questions. Q1 2018. Explain the concept of biomes and describe the characteristics of the desert biome. Answer. A biome is a large ecological area characterized by its climate, vegetation, and wildlife. The desert biome is defined by extremely low rainfall, less than 250 millimeters per year, high day temperatures, and cold nights. Vegetation is sparse, including species like cacti and succulents, and animals are adapted to conserve water. Q2 2019. Discuss the classification of terrestrial biomes and their distribution across the globe. Answer. Terrestrial biomes are classified into tropical rainforests, savannas, deserts, temperate grasslands, temperate forests, boreal forests, and tundra. Each biome is distributed according to temperature and precipitation patterns, with tropical rainforests near the equator and tundra at the poles. Q3 2020. Describe the characteristics and ecological significance of coral reef biomes. Answer. Coral reefs are found in warm, shallow marine waters and are known for their high biodiversity. They support various fish species, corals, and invertebrates. Coral reefs protect coastal areas from erosion, support fisheries, and play a key role in carbon sequestration. Conclusion. Biomes are essential for understanding the Earth's ecological diversity and the distribution of life forms. Each biome has unique characteristics shaped by climatic factors, and the species that inhabit them are adapted to these specific environmental conditions. Biomes not only support biodiversity but also provide vital services, such as carbon sequestration, water regulation, and habitat provision. Understanding the distribution and functions of biomes is crucial for effective conservation and environmental management. Understanding the distribution and functions of biomes is crucial for effective conservation and environmental management. You said. Characteristics of different biomes. Tundra, taiga, ChatGPT said. Characteristics of different biomes. Tundra and taiga 1. Tundra biome. The tundra biome is one of the coldest and harshest environments on Earth, characterized by its extremely low temperatures, short growing seasons, and limited precipitation. It is primarily found in the high latitudes, near the Arctic Circle, and at high altitudes in mountainous regions. Key characteristics of the tundra biome. Climate. Temperature. Extremely cold, with long, harsh winters. Summer temperatures are cool and typically below 10 degrees Celsius. Summer temperatures are cool and typically below 10 degrees Celsius. Precipitation. Low, usually less than 250 millimeters annually, and falls primarily as snow. Seasonality. Short growing season, typically lasting only 50 to 60 days. Most of the year is spent in a frozen state with little sunlight during the winter months. Vegetation. Plant growth. Vegetation is sparse and consists mainly of low-growing plants like mosses, lichens, grasses, and dwarf shrubs. Tree growth is minimal because of the permafrost. Permafrost. The ground is permanently frozen just below the surface, inhibiting the growth of deep-rooted plants. Fauna. Animals. The fauna of the tundra is adapted to survive in cold conditions. Notable species include polar bears, reindeer, arctic foxes, snowy owls, and migratory birds. These animals are well adapted to cold temperatures, with thick fur feathers for insulation, and many have behaviors to cope with the scarcity of food and shelter during the winter months. Adaptations. Animals often have thick coats, fat reserves for insulation, and some migrate to warmer regions during the winter months. Soil. Permafrost. The soil remains frozen throughout the year, and the shallow layer that thaws in summer is called the active layer. This layer is prone to waterlogging due to its inability to drain efficiently. Human influence. The tundra is fragile and sensitive to human activity. The construction of pipelines, roads, and the extraction of resources can cause permanent damage to this biome. 2. Taiga boreal forest biome. The taiga, also known as the boreal forest, is the largest terrestrial biome and stretches across the northern parts of North America, Europe, and Asia. It is characterized by cold winters, cool summers, and coniferous forests. Key characteristics of the taiga biome: climate. Temperature: cold winters with temperatures often dropping below -30 degrees Celsius, while summers are short and warm, usually ranging from 10 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. Precipitation: moderate, typically between 300 1,000 per year, mostly falling as snow during winter. Summers have more rainfall than winter, but the soil can be nutrient poor. Seasonality: the growing season is short, lasting around 4 to 5 months, and the biome experiences long, cold winters and brief, warm summers. Vegetation: tree types, dominated by coniferous trees such as spruce, pine, fir, and larch. These trees have needle-like leaves that are adapted to conserve water and withstand freezing temperatures. Understory: the understory vegetation is sparse due to the cold temperatures and poor soil, with mosses, lichens, and small shrubs being common. Adaptations: trees in the taiga have adapted to extreme cold by having needle-shaped leaves, thick bark, and a conical shape that helps shed snow. Fauna. Animals: the taiga is home to a range of mammals, birds, and insects. Common species include moose, wolves, lynx, bears, and snowshoe hares. Many of these animals have thick fur and fat layers to insulate against the cold. Migratory birds, such as hawks and owls, often visit during the warmer months. Adaptations: animals in the taiga have adaptations like hibernation, migration, or thick coats to survive the cold winters. Soil. Soil type: the soil in the taiga is typically acidic and nutrient poor, with a layer of decomposed organic material. The cold temperatures slow down the decomposition of plant matter, resulting in a buildup of dead organic material on the forest floor. Permafrost: some parts of the taiga have a layer of permafrost, especially in northern areas, but it is not as widespread or permanent as in the tundra biome. Human influence: the taiga has been heavily exploited for timber and resources, with logging being a significant industry in the region. However, the vast size of the biome means that much of it remains relatively undisturbed, although deforestation and climate change are growing concerns. Comparison of tundra and taiga biomes. Feature: tundra taiga, boreal forest. Climate: extremely cold winters, short cool summers, cold winters, short warm summers, precipitation low, less than 250 millimeters per year, moderate 300 -1000 millimeters per year, vegetation: mosses, lichens, grasses, dwarf shrubs, coniferous trees, pine, spruce, fir, mosses, lichens, soil, permafrost, nutrient poor, acidic, nutrient poor, with some permafrost in the north. Fauna: polar bears, reindeer, arctic foxes, migratory birds, moose, wolves, bears, lynx, migratory birds. Human impact: vulnerable to oil extraction, mining, and climate change. Logging, mining, and deforestation. Previous year questions. Q1 2017 discuss the characteristics of the tundra biome and its climatic conditions. Answer: the tundra biome is characterized by extremely cold temperatures, low precipitation less than 250 millimeters per year, and a short growing season. The vegetation is limited to mosses, lichens, and grasses, and the fauna includes species like polar bears and arctic foxes, which are adapted to cold temperatures. Permafrost is a key feature of this biome. Q2 2018 describe the taiga biome and the adaptations of its flora and fauna. Answer: the taiga biome, or boreal forest, has cold winters and short, warm summers. It is dominated by coniferous trees, which are adapted to conserve water and withstand freezing temperatures. Fauna, including moose, wolves, and bears, have thick fur and fat layers to survive the cold winters. Q3 2019 compare and contrast the tundra and taiga biomes. Answer: while both biomes are cold, the tundra is colder with shorter growing season and has sparse vegetation like mosses and lichens, while the taiga has coniferous forests and a longer growing season. The tundra has widespread permafrost, while the taiga has nutrient poor, acidic soil with some permafrost in the northern regions. Conclusion: both the tundra and taiga are cold biomes, but they differ significantly in terms of their vegetation, fauna, and climatic conditions. The tundra is a stark, frozen landscape with limited life forms, while the taiga is a more forested biome with more biodiversity and a slightly more hospitable climate. Understanding these biomes is essential for conservation efforts, as they are both sensitive to climate change and human activities. You said. Grassland, deciduous forest biome, highland icy alpine biome. ChatGPT said. Characteristics of different biomes: grassland, deciduous forest, and highland icy alpine biomes. 1. Grassland biome. Grasslands, also known as prairies or savannas, are biomes characterized by vast open spaces dominated by grasses, with few trees or shrubs. They are typically found in regions where there is seasonal rainfall, but not enough to support the growth of forests. Key characteristics of grassland biome: climate. Temperature: grasslands experience extreme temperature variations, with hot summers and cold winters. Summer temperatures can exceed 30 degrees Celsius, while winter temperatures can drop below freezing. Precipitation: moderate to low rainfall, ranging from 250 to 900 millimeters per year. The rainfall is often seasonal, with distinct wet and dry seasons. Seasonality: grasslands have distinct seasons, with warm and wet summers supporting plant growth, and dry, cold winters leading to dormant periods. Vegetation: dominant plants: the vegetation is primarily grasses and herbaceous plants. Trees are generally scarce and are typically found along rivers or in sheltered areas. Grass species: species such as blue stem grass, buffalo grass, and ryegrass are typical in temperate grasslands, while tropical grasslands may feature elephant grass and savanna grasses. Adaptations: plants in grasslands are adapted to survive periods of drought and fire. Many grasses have deep root systems that help them access water during dry periods. Fauna. Animals: grasslands are home to a wide variety of herbivores such as bison, antelope, zebras, and elephants in tropical grasslands, as well as predators like wolves, lions, and cheetahs. There is a high degree of biodiversity in grasslands. Adaptations: animals in grasslands often have adaptations like camouflage for avoiding predators and migratory behaviors to cope with seasonal food availability. Soil. Soil type: grassland soils are typically rich in nutrients due to the decay of grass roots. The soils are often deep and fertile, making grasslands ideal for agriculture when not subject to overgrazing. Human influence: grasslands are often converted into agricultural land, and overgrazing can lead to desertification. Fires, both natural and human caused, are common in these biomes. 2. Deciduous forest biome. Deciduous forests are forests in which most of the trees shed their leaves and the fall and grow new ones in the spring. These forests are typically found in temperate regions with a distinct winter and summer season. Key characteristics of deciduous forest biome: climate. Temperature: temperate deciduous forests experience a wide range of temperatures, with cold winters often below freezing and warm summers between 15 degrees Celsius and 25 degrees Celsius. Precipitation: rainfall is abundant, typically between 750 and 1,500 millimeters per year, evenly distributed throughout the year. Seasonality: the seasonal changes in temperature and light drive the leaf shedding cycle in trees. Winters are cold and snowy, while summers are warm and wet. Vegetation: tree species dominated by broadleaf trees such as oak, maple, beech, and birch. The trees in this biome are deciduous, meaning they shed their leaves and the fall and grow new ones in spring. Understory plants: the forest floor is covered by herbs, ferns, and shrubs. Plants such as bluebells, ferns, and wildflowers thrive in the shaded forest floor during the spring before the canopy thickens. Adaptations: trees shed their leaves to conserve water during the cold, dry winter months. Many plants in the forest floor also have seasonal growth patterns that take advantage of sunlight before the canopy fills in. Fauna. Animals: deciduous forests are home to a wide variety of mammals, birds, and insects. Common species include deer, rabbits, squirrels, foxes, and wild boars. Birds such as woodpeckers, owls, and songbirds are common, along with insects like beetles and ants. Adaptations: many animals in deciduous forests have seasonal behaviors, such as hibernation, e.g., bears, or migration, e.g., birds. Many mammals grow thicker coats during the winter to cope with the cold. Soil. Soil type: the soil in deciduous forests is fertile and rich in nutrients due to the decomposition of leaf litter. These forests have loamy soils that support a diverse range of plant life. Decomposition: the fallen leaves decompose quickly, returning vital nutrients to the soil, which supports a lush, green understory. Human influence: deciduous forests have been heavily impacted by logging and urbanization. Many temperate forests have been cleared for agriculture or urban development, leading to habitat loss. 3. Highland icy alpine biome. The alpine biome, or highland icy biome, is characterized by its location in mountainous areas. These regions are typically above the tree line, where temperatures remain cold year-round and the vegetation is sparse. Key characteristics of highland icy alpine biome: climate. Temperature: the temperatures in alpine regions can be extremely cold, particularly at higher altitudes. Even in summer, temperatures can stay cool around 5 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius, with winters being bitterly cold. Precipitation: precipitation varies widely, with some alpine regions receiving substantial snowfall, especially in winter months. Rainfall is usually low but can be moderate in summer. Seasonality. The alpine biome experiences a short growing season, generally lasting only a few months. The cold temperatures, wind, and snow make the environment harsh for most organisms. Vegetation. Plant species. Vegetation in alpine regions consists primarily of dwarf shrubs, grasses, and mosses. Trees are absent above the tree line, and only hardy plants can survive in this biome. Alpine plants are adapted to extreme cold and short growing seasons. Adaptations. Many plants have evolved low-growing forms, with thick, waxy leaves to conserve water and heat. Some alpine plants have evolved to grow rapidly during the brief summer. Fauna. Animals. The animals in alpine regions are adapted to cold, high-altitude conditions. Species include mountain goats, snow leopards, alpine ibex, and marmots. Birds such as golden eagles and snow buntings are common, and many insects are adapted to survive in cold, windy conditions. Adaptations. Animals in the alpine biome often have thick fur or feathers, and some exhibit behaviors like migrating or hibernating to survive the harsh winters. Soil. Soil type. Alpine soils are typically thin, rocky, and poor in nutrients. They are often composed of loose rock debris and have limited organic matter due to the harsh climatic conditions. Human influence. Alpine biomes are less affected by human activities, though they can suffer from tourism-related impacts such as soil erosion and pollution. The construction of ski resorts and hiking trails can also alter the natural landscape. Previous year questions. Q1 2016. Describe the characteristics of the grassland biome and its major plant and animal species. Answer. Grasslands are characterized by moderate rainfall, 250–900 mm per year, seasonal temperatures, and the dominance of grasses. Key species include bison and antelope in temperate grasslands, and elephants and zebras in tropical grasslands. Adaptations of plants and animals include deep root systems and migratory behavior. Q2 2017. Explain the seasonal changes in the deciduous forest biome and the adaptations of its flora and fauna. Answer. Deciduous forests experience cold winters and warm, wet summers. The trees shed their leaves in winter to conserve water, while animals such as bears hibernate and birds migrate to warmer regions. The fertile soil supports abundant plant life. Q3 2018. What are the primary features of the alpine biome, and how are organisms adapted to survive in such conditions? Answer. The alpine biome is cold with short growing seasons. It has limited vegetation, mainly dwarf shrubs, mosses, and grasses. Animals like mountain goats have thick fur, and some species, like marmots, hibernate during harsh winters. Animals like mountain goats have thick fur, and some species, like marmots, hibernate during harsh winters. The soil is thin and nutrient poor. Conclusion. Grasslands, deciduous forests, and alpine biomes each have unique features that support specialized plant and animal life. Grasslands provide rich, fertile soils for agriculture. Deciduous forests are known for their seasonal changes, and the alpine biome represents an extreme environment where only hardy species can survive. These biomes are important for biodiversity, and understanding their characteristics is essential for their conservation. You said. Chaparral, savanna, tropical rainforest. ChatGPT said. Characteristics of different biomes: chaparral, savanna, and tropical rainforest. 1. Chaparral biome. The chaparral biome is characterized by hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. It is typically found in regions with a Mediterranean climate, such as the coastal areas of California, parts of Australia, and the Mediterranean basin. Key characteristics of chaparral biome: climate. Temperature. Summers are hot, often exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, while winters are mild, typically ranging between 10 degrees Celsius and 15 degrees Celsius. The temperature variation is significant due to the lack of cloud cover in summer and cooler conditions during winter. Precipitation. The chaparral receives most of its rainfall during the winter, with annual precipitation ranging from 200 to 750 millimeters. The dry summer months are a defining feature of this biome. Seasonality. The climate is characterized by pronounced wet winter season and dry summer months, leading to a highly seasonal ecosystem. Vegetation. Plant species. The vegetation is mainly dominated by hardleaf shrubs, small trees, and grasses. Some common species include olive trees, oak, cypress, laurel, and sagebrush. Adaptations. Plants in chaparral biomes are adapted to drought conditions. They often have waxy leaves to reduce water loss, and some species are fire resistant, as fires are common in this biome. Many plants have deep roots to access water from underground reservoirs. Fauna. Animals. The chaparral supports a variety of animals adapted to its hot, dry climate. These include coyotes, bobcats, rabbits, deer, gophers, and various reptiles such as lizards and snakes. Adaptations. Animals in the chaparral biome are adapted to conserve water and cope with heat. Many are nocturnal to avoid the daytime heat, and some, like rodents, burrow to escape the heat. Soil. Soil type. Chaparral soils are generally rocky, sandy, and poor in nutrients, although they can be rich in organic matter. The soil often becomes dry and hard during the summer, limiting plant growth during this period. Human influence. Human activities in chaparral regions include urbanization, agriculture, and the risk of wildfires. The development of cities and agriculture has led to habitat destruction and degradation. 2. Savanna biome. Savannas are tropical and subtropical grasslands that are typically found in regions with seasonal rainfall, such as parts of Africa, Australia, and South America. They are characterized by a mix of grasses and sparse trees. Key characteristics of savanna biome: climate. Temperature. Savannas experience warm temperatures year-round, typically ranging from 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. However, temperatures can occasionally reach higher during the day. Precipitation. The savanna receives moderate rainfall, ranging from 500 to 1,500 millimeters per year, but the rainfall is seasonal, with distinct wet and dry periods. The wet season typically lasts 4 to 6 months, and the dry season can be very harsh. Seasonality. The savanna's climate is marked by a long dry season and a short, intense wet season. During the dry season, much of the vegetation turns brown and becomes dormant. Vegetation. Plant species. The savanna is dominated by grasses, with scattered trees and shrubs. Common tree species include acacias, baobabs, and eucalyptus. The vegetation is often fire adapted, with trees that have deep roots to survive drought conditions. Adaptations. Grasses in the savanna are adapted to survive drought and grazing. Some trees have thick bark to resist fire, while grasses regenerate quickly after fires or drought. Fauna. Animals. The savanna is home to a wide variety of large herbivores, including elephants, giraffes, zebras, and antelope, as well as carnivores such as lions, cheetahs, and hyenas. Smaller animals include rodents, birds, and reptiles. Adaptations. Animals in the savanna have adapted to cope with both the dry season and predators. Herbivores are often migratory, following the seasonal rainfall patterns, while carnivores have specialized hunting techniques to catch prey. Soil. Soil type. Savanna soils are typically sandy or loamy, with relatively low fertility due to the seasonal nature of rainfall and the quick decomposition of organic material. The soils may be richer during the wet season when plant growth is active. Human influence. Savannas are impacted by agriculture, particularly livestock farming, and are vulnerable to overgrazing. The biome also faces challenges related to deforestation and land conversion for farming and development. 3. Tropical rainforest biome. Tropical rainforests are dense, warm, and wet forests found near the equator. They are one of the most biodiverse biomes in the world, home to a vast number of plant and animal species. They are found in regions like the Amazon basin, Congo basin, Southeast Asia, and parts of Australia. Key characteristics of tropical rainforest biome: climate. Temperature. The tropical rainforest experiences warm temperatures year-round, typically between 20 degrees Celsius and 25 degrees Celsius, with little variation between seasons. The biome is characterized by consistently high humidity levels. Precipitation. Rainforests receive high amounts of rainfall, typically between 2,000 and 10,000 millimeters annually, with rainfall distributed throughout the year. This constant moisture supports the dense vegetation. Seasonality. There is no significant seasonal variation in temperature or rainfall. The climate remains stable year-round, allowing continuous plant and animal activity. Vegetation. Plant species. Tropical rainforests are home to a wide variety of plant species, including tall trees, vines, epiphytes, ferns, and bamboo. Key species include mahogany, kapok, and rubber trees. The dense canopy layers block most sunlight from reaching the forest floor, creating a shaded environment. Adaptations. Plants have developed large leaves to capture sunlight and specialized root systems to access nutrients. Some plants, such as orchids and bromeliads, grow on other plants' epiphytes to reach the canopy. Fauna. Animals. The tropical rainforest supports an extremely high biodiversity of animals, including monkeys, sloths, tigers, jaguars, parrots, frogs, and a wide variety of insects like butterflies and beetles. The canopy is home to a variety of species that rarely touch the forest floor. Adaptations. Animals in the rainforest have adapted to a variety of niches, from arboreal tree-dwelling to terrestrial species. Many animals are arboreal, using the forest canopy for shelter and food. Camouflage is a common adaptation for protection from predators. Soil. Soil type. Rainforest soils are typically infertile and poor in nutrients, despite the rich vegetation. Nutrients are quickly absorbed by plants and decomposed on the forest floor. The soil's low fertility is partly due to rapid nutrient cycling and the leaching of minerals by frequent rainfall. Human influence. Tropical rainforests face significant threats from deforestation, logging, and agricultural expansion. These activities have led to habitat loss and biodiversity decline. Conservation efforts are critical to preserving these vital ecosystems. Previous year questions. Q1 2015. Describe the climate and vegetation of the savanna biome. How do animals adapt to the seasonal changes in this biome? Answer. Savannas experience seasonal rainfall, with wet summers and dry winters. Vegetation includes grasses and scattered trees like acacias. Animals such as zebras migrate during dry seasons, and herbivores have adaptations like large body sizes to travel long distances for food and water. Q2 2016. Discuss the characteristics of the tropical rainforest biome and the adaptations of its plants and animals. Answer. Tropical rainforests have warm temperatures, high humidity, and consistent rainfall throughout the year. Vegetation includes tall trees, epiphytes, and dense undergrowth. Animals are highly adapted to the canopy, and many have specialized adaptations like camouflage and arboreal locomotion. Q3 2017. Explain the characteristics of the chaparral biome and its typical vegetation. How do plants and animals cope with the hot, dry summers? Answer. Chaparrals experience hot, dry summers and mild winters. Vegetation includes shrubs like sagebrush and small trees such as oaks. Plants are drought resistant with thick, waxy leaves, and animals are often nocturnal or burrow to avoid the heat. Conclusion. The chaparral, savanna, and tropical rainforest biomes are diverse ecosystems that support unique plant and animal life. Each biome has distinct climate, vegetation, and fauna characteristics shaped by temperature, precipitation, and seasonal changes. Understanding these biomes is crucial for conservation efforts and the sustainable management of their resources. You said. Population ecology. Characteristics of population. Concept of carrying capacity. Population growth and regulations. ChatGPT said. Population ecology. Characteristics of population. Concept of carrying capacity. Population growth and regulations 1. Characteristics of population. In ecology, a population refers to a group of individuals of the same species that live in a specific geographical area and interact with one another. The study of populations and their dynamics is fundamental to understanding ecological processes and the structure of ecosystems. Several key characteristics define a population. Key characteristics of population. Population size. The total number of individuals present in a population at a given time. The size of a population can fluctuate based on birth rates, death rates, immigration, and emigration. Population density. This refers to the number of individuals per unit area or volume. Population density varies significantly among different species and ecosystems, often determined by the availability of resources, environmental conditions, and the species' ability to reproduce. Age structure. This refers to the distribution of individuals across different age groups in a population, e.g., juvenile, adult, and senescent individuals. The age structure influences population growth and reproductive potential. Populations with a higher proportion of younger individuals typically experience faster growth. Sex ratio. The ratio of males to females in a population. This ratio can influence reproductive success, as a skewed sex ratio may limit the population's ability to reproduce effectively. Dispersal. The movement of individuals away from their birthplaces to new areas. Dispersal can occur via migration or individual movements, and it influences the genetic diversity, distribution, and dynamics of the population. Genetic structure. The genetic makeup of a population, including the genetic variation present. High genetic diversity often provides greater adaptability to environmental changes, while low diversity can increase vulnerability to diseases and environmental stressors. 2. Concept of carrying capacity. The carrying capacity K of an environment is the maximum number of individuals of a species that an environment can support sustainably over time without degrading the habitat. This concept is central to understanding population regulation and resource limitations. Key points of carrying capacity. Resource limitation. Carrying capacity is determined by the availability of resources such as food, water, shelter, and mates. If resources are abundant, the population can grow, but once these resources become limited, growth slows or halts. Environmental resistance. Environmental resistance refers to the factors that limit population growth, such as predation, disease, competition, and climate conditions. These factors act to prevent populations from growing beyond the carrying capacity. Dynamic nature. The carrying capacity is not fixed. It can change over time due to fluctuations in resource availability, environmental changes, or species interactions. Human activities, like deforestation or pollution, can reduce the carrying capacity of an environment for certain species. Sustainability. If a population exceeds its carrying capacity, the environment may experience degradation, leading to resource depletion and eventual population decline. Maintaining populations within their carrying capacity is essential for long-term sustainability. 3. Population growth. Population growth refers to the change in the number of individuals in a population over time. It is influenced by factors such as birth rates, death rates, immigration, and emigration. Key models of population growth. Exponential growth J-curve. Exponential growth occurs when resources are unlimited and individuals reproduce at their maximum potential. The population grows at a constant rate r, and the growth curve follows a J shape. Equation n. T equals n0 ERT. T equals n0 ERT. Nt equals n0. ERT. Where n. T. Nt is the population size at time t. T, n0 is the initial population size, r. R is the intrinsic growth rate, and E is Euler's number. Exponential growth occurs in environments where resources are abundant and there are no significant limiting factors. Logistic growth S-curve. Logistic growth occurs when resources are limited and the population growth rate slows as the population approaches its carrying capacity. This type of growth follows an S-shape, where growth is initially exponential but slows as the population size reaches the carrying capacity K. Equation n. T equals K1 plus K minus N0 E minus RT and T equals 1 plus N0. K minus N0. E minus RT. K. Where K. K is the carrying capacity in other terms or is previously defined. In logistic growth, population size stabilizes when the population reaches the carrying capacity of the environment and the growth rate is 0. Factors influencing population growth. Birth rate, the number of births per individual in a population over a specific time period. Death rate, the number of deaths per individual in a population over a specific time period. Immigration and emigration, the movement of individuals inter out of a population, respectively. These factors contribute to population growth or decline, depending on the direction of movement. 4. Population regulations. Population regulation refers to the mechanisms that control and stabilize the size of populations. These mechanisms can be classified into density-dependent and density-independent factors. Density-dependent factors. Density-dependent factors are those that have a greater effect as the population size increases. These factors are usually biotic, meaning they arise from interactions among living organisms. They tend to regulate population size by increasing mortality or decreasing birth rates. Competition. When populations are dense, individuals must compete for limited resources, such as food, water, and shelter. This competition reduces individual growth and reproduction rates. Predation. As population density increases, predators may find it easier to locate prey. This can increase mortality rates, thus reducing population size. Disease. In denser populations, the spread of diseases and parasites is more rapid, leading to increased mortality rates and population control. Territoriality. In species with territorial behavior, increased population density leads to conflicts and reduced reproductive success due to limited space for individuals to establish territories. Density-independent factors. Density-independent factors affect populations regardless of their size or density. These factors are typically abiotic and can cause sudden and drastic changes in population numbers. Climate and weather. Extreme weather events, such as droughts, floods, or storms, can decimate populations, irrespective of their size. Natural disasters. Events like fires, earthquakes, or volcanic eruptions can wipe out entire populations, and their impacts are not related to population density. Human activities. Deforestation, habitat destruction, pollution, and hunting can cause significant declines in population size, irrespective of the population's density. Previous year questions. Q1 2015. Define carrying capacity and explain its significance in regulating population growth. What factors determine the carrying capacity of an environment? Answer. Carrying capacity is the maximum number of individuals an environment can support without degradation. It is determined by resource availability. It is determined by resource availability, environmental factors, and interactions with other species. It is significant as it prevents overpopulation and ecosystem collapse. Q2 2016 discuss the difference between exponential and logistic population growth models. What factors lead to the transition from exponential to logistic growth? Answer. Exponential growth occurs in environments with unlimited resources and leads to a J-shaped curve. Logistic growth occurs when resources are limited and growth slows as the population nears carrying capacity, forming an S-shaped curve. Factors like resource depletion and increased competition contribute to this transition. Q3 2017 explain density-dependent and density-independent factors that regulate population growth. Provide examples of each. Answer. Density-dependent factors include competition, predation, disease, and territoriality, which increases population density increases. Density-independent factors include natural disasters and climate events, which affect populations regardless of density. Conclusion. Population ecology focuses on the dynamics of populations within ecosystems, including how populations grow, interact, and are regulated. The carrying capacity, population growth models, and various regulatory factors provide essential insights into the sustainability of species and their ability to thrive in their environments. Understanding these concepts is crucial for conservation efforts, wildlife management, and predicting ecological trends. You said. Population fluctuations, dispersion, and metapopulation. ChatGPT said. Population fluctuations, dispersion, and metapopulation. 1. Population fluctuations. Population fluctuations refer to the changes in the size or density of a population over time. These fluctuations can occur due to a variety of environmental, biological, and ecological factors. Understanding population fluctuations is crucial for studying the dynamics of species and predicting their future trends in both natural and managed ecosystems. Causes of population fluctuations. Resource availability. Fluctuations in the availability of resources such as food, water, and shelter can lead to changes in population size. When resources are abundant, populations tend to grow, but when resources are scarce, population size decreases. Predation pressure. The relationship between predator and prey can cause fluctuations. If predator populations increase, prey populations may decrease, leading to a reduction in the predator population due to a lack of food. Disease and parasitism. Disease outbreaks or parasitic infestations can dramatically reduce population size. For example, pandemics can result in significant mortality in host populations, causing a decline in numbers. Climate variability. Changes in climate, such as temperature shifts, droughts, or storms, can have significant effects on populations. Some species may thrive under certain climate conditions, while others may suffer. Reproductive rates. Variations in birth rates, which may be influenced by factors like the availability of mates, environmental conditions, and social structures, can lead to periodic increases or declines in population size. Human influence. Activities such as habitat destruction, pollution, overharvesting, and the introduction of invasive species can cause abrupt population changes, sometimes leading to crashes or rapid growth. Types of population fluctuations. Cyclic fluctuations. Some populations exhibit regular cycles of increase and decrease, often due to predator-prey interactions or resource availability. An example of cyclic fluctuations can be observed in the population cycles of snowshoe hares and lynx in North America. Irregular fluctuations. These are random or unpredictable changes in population size, often influenced by unpredictable environmental factors or catastrophes. For example, some fish populations may experience sudden crashes due to changes in water temperature or pollution events. Damped oscillations. A population may experience fluctuations that decrease over time and eventually stabilize, often due to density-dependent factors like competition or predation. 2. Dispersion. Dispersion refers to the spatial arrangement of individuals within a population. It describes how individuals are spread out across an area and can provide insights into ecological relationships, resource distribution, and behavior of species. Types of dispersion patterns. Clump dispersion. This is the most common pattern of dispersion where individuals are found in groups or clusters. This pattern often occurs when resources such as food, water, or shelter are unevenly distributed across a habitat, or when social behaviors such as herding, flocking, or colonial nesting are present. For example, elephants often form clumped herds based on family groups or resources. Uniform dispersion. In this pattern, individuals are evenly spaced across the habitat. This often occurs due to territorial behavior, where individuals maintain a certain distance from one another to avoid competition. For example, penguins may maintain uniform spacing while nesting in areas with limited space. Random dispersion. Individuals are spaced unpredictably and without any apparent pattern. This type of dispersion occurs when resources are uniformly available and there are no strong interactions between individuals that would influence their positioning. An example of random dispersion can be seen in some plant species whose seeds are dispersed by wind. Factors influencing dispersion. Resource distribution. The availability and distribution of resources such as food, water, or shelter can influence whether individuals group together, clumped, stay apart, uniform, or are spread out randomly. Social interactions. Some species exhibit social behaviors, such as flocking, herding, or territoriality, which can influence the dispersion pattern of individuals within the population. Environmental factors. Abiotic factors like temperature, moisture, and topography can also influence how populations are dispersed within an area. 3. Metapopulation. A metapopulation refers to a group of spatially separated populations of the same species that are connected by occasional dispersal or migration. This concept is particularly relevant in fragmented habitats, where populations are isolated but still interact to some degree through gene flow, recolonization, and extinction events. Key concepts in metapopulation dynamics. Source sink dynamics. In a metapopulation, some populations, source populations, have high growth rates and can act as sources of individuals for other populations, sink populations, which have lower growth rates and may depend on immigration for survival. Source populations have surplus individuals that disperse to sink populations, ensuring persistence. Habitat fragmentation. Metapopulations are commonly found in landscapes where habitats are fragmented by human activities like deforestation or urbanization. Habitat patches may become isolated, but individuals can still migrate between patches, maintaining genetic exchange and population persistence. Colonization and extinction. In a metapopulation, individual populations may experience local extinctions, but other populations in the metapopulation can recolonize the empty habitat patches. This dynamic helps maintain overall species persistence across fragmented landscapes. Connectivity and isolation. The movement between populations in a metapopulation depends on the connectivity of the habitat patches. If patches are too isolated, the chances of recolonization decrease, and the population may face a higher risk of extinction. Metapopulation models. Classic model. Levin's model. This model assumes that there are a series of discrete habitat patches that are connected by migration. It emphasizes the importance of habitat patch size, isolation, and the rate of colonization and extinction in determining the overall stability of the metapopulation. Patch occupancy models. These models focus on the probability of each patch being occupied or extinct based on the rates of colonization and local extinction. These models are useful for understanding how habitat fragmentation influences population persistence. Previous year questions. Q1 2018. Explain the concept of metapopulation and discuss the factors that influence the dynamics of metapopulations. Answer. A metapopulation is a group of spatially separated populations of the same species, connected by occasional dispersal. Key factors influencing metapopulation dynamics include habitat fragmentation, colonization, extinction rates, and the size and isolation of habitat patches. These factors determine the persistence of species across fragmented landscapes. Q2 2017. Describe the different types of population dispersion and provide examples. Answer. The three main types of population dispersion are clumped, uniform, and random. Clump dispersion occurs when individuals are found in groups due to resource concentration or social behavior, e.g., elephants. Uniform dispersion occurs when individuals maintain a set distance from each other due to territorial behavior, e.g., penguins. Random dispersion occurs when individuals are spaced unpredictably, e.g., some plant species dispersed by wind. Q3 2016. Discuss the factors contributing to population fluctuations and how they can affect species survival. Answer. Population fluctuations can result from changes in resource availability, predation, disease, climate, and reproductive rates. These fluctuations affect species survival by either limiting population growth or causing population crashes, potentially leading to local extinctions or adaptation to new conditions. Q4 2015. How does habitat fragmentation influence metapopulation dynamics? Answer. Habitat fragmentation isolates populations, reducing the chances of gene flow and recolonization of empty patches. Smaller, isolated populations are at greater risk of extinction, and the dynamics of metapopulations are heavily dependent on the size, connectivity, and colonization potential of habitat patches. Conclusion. Understanding population fluctuations, dispersion patterns, and metapopulation dynamics is essential for conservation biology, wildlife management, and ecological studies. These concepts provide insights into how populations grow, interact, and persist in fragmented and changing environments. The ability to predict and manage population trends is critical for preserving biodiversity and ensuring the survival of species in the face of environmental pressures and human-induced changes. You said. Concept of RNK species, keystone species. ChatGPT said. Concept of RNK species and keystone species 1. Concept of RNK species. The concept of RNK species was proposed by ecologists Robert McCarter and Edward O. Wilson as part of the RK selection theory to explain the reproductive strategies of different species in relation to their environment. These strategies are shaped by the ecological niche of the species and their environment stability. R species are strategists. R species, also known as R strategists, are species that emphasize high reproductive rates. These species are adapted to environments that are unstable, unpredictable, or disturbed, and they invest more energy into producing many offspring rather than ensuring the survival of each individual offspring. Characteristics of R species. High reproductive rate. R species produce a large number of offspring in a short period of time, often without much parental care. Early maturation. They reach reproductive maturity quickly. Short lifespan. These species typically have a short lifespan and reproduce rapidly during this time. Low parental investment. There is little to no care for offspring, as they are often left to fend for themselves. Small body size. They tend to be small body organisms. Unstable habitats. They thrive in habitats where environmental conditions fluctuate, such as disturbed or ephemeral environments. Example species. Many insects such as mosquitoes, weeds, and some fish and amphibians. Population growth. The population of R species tends to follow an exponential growth curve, J-shaped curve, because of their high reproduction rates and minimal competition for resources. Survival strategy. The strategy of R species is based on quantity over quality. They produce many offspring, but few survive to adulthood. K species, K strategists. K species, or K strategists, are species that live in more stable, predictable environments and invest more in the survival of fewer offspring rather than producing large numbers. Their populations tend to be regulated by density-dependent factors. Characteristics of K species. Low reproductive rate. K species produce fewer offspring, but invest considerable time and resources into their care and survival. Late maturation. These species take longer to reach reproductive maturity. Long lifespan. K species generally have a longer lifespan and reproduce over an extended period. High parental investment. Significant care and resources are provided to offspring to ensure their survival. Large body size. K species tend to be larger body organisms. Stable habitats. They are typically found in stable, predictable environments with fewer fluctuations in resources. Example species: elephants, humans, whales, and many large mammals. Population growth. The population of K species typically follows a logistic growth curve, S-shaped curve, where growth slows as the population size approaches the carrying capacity K of the environment. Survival strategy. The strategy of K species is based on quality over quantity. They produce fewer offspring, but ensure better survival rates due to parental investment. Key differences between R and K species. Characteristic R species: K species reproductive rate high, low offspring number, many, few parental investment, low, high. Growth rate fast, exponential, J-shaped, slower, logistic, S-shaped, lifespan short, long. Habitat unstable, disturbed, stable, predictable survival strategy, quantity over quality, quality over quantity 2. Keystone species. A keystone species is a species that has a disproportionately large effect on its ecosystem relative to its abundance of biomass. These species play critical roles in maintaining the structure, diversity, and functioning of an ecological community. The term keystone species was first introduced by Robert King in 1969, and the concept is based on the idea that removing or reducing the number of a keystone species can lead to significant changes in the ecosystem, often resulting in the loss of biodiversity. Characteristics of keystone species. Disproportionate impact. Despite their small size or low population, keystone species influence their ecosystem in profound ways. Their presence or absence can cause cascading effects throughout the food web. Trophic level. Keystone species may be primary producers, herbivores, carnivores, or omnivores. They can affect ecosystems through predation, competition, mutualism, or other interactions. Ecological role. Keystone species may regulate prey populations, enhance habitat complexity, and control the abundance of other species, preventing any one group from becoming dominant. Types of keystone species. Predators. These species control the population of other species, thus influencing the structure of the entire ecosystem. For example, sea otters in kelp forests. Sea otters prey on sea urchins, preventing urchin populations from overwhelming kelp forests. Without otters, urchin populations would grow unchecked, decimating the kelp ecosystem. Wolves in Yellowstone. Wolves control populations of deer and elk, which in turn allows vegetation to recover, benefiting other species such as beavers and birds. Prey species. In some cases, certain species that serve as prey to predators may also be considered keystone species, especially if they provide a critical food source for other species. Krill in polar regions. Krill serve as a primary food source for many marine species, including whales, seals, and fish. A decline in krill populations could collapse the entire food web in these ecosystems. Ecosystem engineers. Some keystone species alter the physical environment in ways that create or modify habitats for other species. Beavers. Beavers build dams, creating wetlands that support diverse plant and animal communities. Without beavers, these wetlands would not exist. Coral. Corals build reefs that provide shelter and habitat for thousands of marine species. Coral reefs are critical for biodiversity in tropical marine ecosystems. Mutualists. Some species form mutualistic relationships that are crucial for the survival of other species or ecosystems. Pollinators like bees. Bees pollinate a wide range of plants, including many agricultural crops. Their loss would result in the decline of plant populations that depend on pollination. Importance of keystone species. Maintain biodiversity. By regulating populations of other species, keystone species help maintain species diversity in ecosystems. Control populations. Keystone predators, for example, prevent the overpopulation of herbivores, allowing plant communities to thrive and thus supporting other species that depend on those plants. Maintain ecosystem function. Keystone species often contribute to the physical structure of an ecosystem, such as coral reefs, wetlands, and forests, which provide critical resources for other species. Previous year questions. Q1 2019. Differentiate between R and K species with examples. Answer. R species exhibit high reproductive rates, early maturation, and little parental care, such as mosquitoes. K species, on the other hand, have low reproductive rates, late maturation, and invest heavily in parental care, such as elephants. Q2 2018. What are keystone species? Discuss their role in an ecosystem. Answer. Keystone species have a large impact on their ecosystem despite being relatively low in biomass or abundance. They can regulate populations of other species, maintain community structure, and enhance ecosystem diversity. Examples include sea otters, wolves in Yellowstone, and coral reefs. Q3 2017. Explain how keystone species can affect biodiversity in an ecosystem. Answer. Keystone species maintain biodiversity by controlling populations of other species, preventing any one species from becoming overly dominant, and ensuring the stability of the ecosystem. For instance, sea otters control sea urchin populations, allowing kelp forests to thrive. Q4 2016. Describe the characteristics of R and K species and their ecological significance. Answer. R species reproduce rapidly, have short lifespans, and thrive in unstable environments, while K species reproduce slowly, have longer lifespans, and are found in stable environments. These strategies impact population dynamics and species survival in different ecological contexts. Conclusion. Understanding the concepts of R and K species and the role of keystone species is crucial for ecological management, conservation, and the study of population dynamics. These concepts not only provide insights into the survival strategies of species but also emphasize the intricate relationships that sustain ecosystems. The conservation of keystone species is particularly important, as their removal can lead to the collapse of entire ecosystems. Search. Community ecology. Definition and concept. Community ecology is a branch of ecology that deals with the study of how different species within a particular area interact with each other, and how these interactions shape the structure and functioning of the community. A community refers to a group of different species living together in a specific area, interacting with each other in various ways, such as competition, predation, mutualism, and commensalism. Understanding community ecology involves exploring the patterns of species distribution, their interactions, and how these factors contribute to biodiversity and ecosystem stability. The concept of a community has evolved over time. Initially, communities were viewed as stable, closed systems where each species had a fixed role, contributing to a balance in the ecosystem. This view is known as the organismic or holistic concept of a community. However, modern ecology has moved towards a more dynamic, open, and complex understanding of communities, recognizing that species interactions are often variable and influenced by various abiotic factors like climate, soil, and disturbances. Communities are now seen as being in a state of flux, where species compositions and interactions can change over time due to factors like competition, environmental changes, and disturbances. A community is defined by several key characteristics, including species composition, the types and numbers of species that make up the community. This can be categorized into dominant species, those that have the most significant effect on the community, keystone species, species whose impact on the community is disproportionately large relative to their abundance, and rare species. Species interactions, the ways in which species interact within the community, which can include competition, when two or more species vie for the same resources, such as food or space. Predation, one species, the predator, feeds on another, the prey influencing the population dynamics of both species. Mutualism, both species benefit from the interaction, as seen in pollination between plants and insects. Commensalism, one species benefits from the interaction, while the other is neither helped nor harmed, such as birds nesting in trees. Amensalism, one species is harmed, while the other is unaffected, like a large tree shading out smaller plants. Trophic structure, the feeding relationships between organisms in the community. This includes primary producers, plants and algae consumers, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and decomposers, fungi, bacteria that recycle nutrients. Ecological niches, the role and position of a species within a community, which includes how it gets its resources, how it interacts with other species, and its environmental requirements. A niche helps define the species place within the food web and ecosystem. Succession, the process through which communities change over time, from pioneer species to a climax community. This can occur after a disturbance, secondary succession, or in a previously uninhabited area, primary succession. Biodiversity, the variety and abundance of species in a community. High biodiversity often leads to a more resilient community, able to withstand environmental stresses and disturbances. Biodiversity is crucial in maintaining ecosystem services like nutrient cycling, pollination, and water purification. Stability and resilience, communities can be more or less stable, meaning their ability to return to a normal state after a disturbance. Resilient communities can recover from disturbances such as droughts, fires, or human activities, while fragile communities may undergo irreversible changes. Previous year questions with answers. Q. Which of the following best defines the term community in ecological terms? A. A community is defined as an assemblage of different species living in the same habitat and interacting with each other. 2018. Q. The diversity of species within an ecological community is known as biodiversity. 2017. Q. Which of the following interactions in a community ecology context is described as a win-win situation? Mutualism. 2019. Q. What is the primary characteristic of a keystone species? A. A keystone species has a disproportionately large effect on the structure and functioning of its community relative to its abundance. 2020. Q. Which of the following terms refers to the role and space an organism occupies in a community? Ecological niche. 2021. Q. What is ecological succession? Ecological succession is the process of change in the species structure of an ecological community over time, occurring through primary or secondary succession. 2022. This lecture aims to provide a solid foundation in community ecology, focusing on the interactions between species and the dynamic nature of communities. The inclusion of previous year questions will help you focus on key areas relevant to the UGC NET JRF environmental science exam. You said. Types and interaction. Predation, herbivora, parasitism, and allelopathy. ChatGPT said. Types of species interactions. Predation, herbivora, parasitism, and allelopathy. Species interactions are fundamental to the dynamics of ecological communities, as they shape the structure and functioning of ecosystems. Different types of interactions, such as predation, herbivora, parasitism, and allelopathy, have significant ecological and evolutionary implications. Each type of interaction has different impacts on the interacting species and the broader community. Here's a detailed exploration of these interactions. 1. Predation. Predation refers to an interaction in which one organism, the predator, kills and consumes another organism, the prey. Predation is a critical mechanism in regulating population sizes and influencing community dynamics. The predator benefits by gaining nourishment, while the prey is harmed or killed. Impact on the predator. Predators gain energy and nutrients by hunting and consuming prey. This leads to their survival and reproduction. Impact on the prey. Prey species suffer mortality and potential loss of fitness. However, not all predation results in death. Some predation events can cause self-lethal effects, such as stress, which can affect reproduction and behavior. Co-evolutionary effects. Over time, predators and prey evolve in response to each other. Predators may develop traits such as sharper claws, faster running speeds, or better camouflage, while prey species may evolve better defense mechanisms, such as camouflage, venom, or speed. Example: a lion hunting a zebra is a classic example of predation. The lion benefits by consuming the zebra, while the zebra loses its life. 2. Herbivora. Herbivora is an interaction where an herbivore, primary consumer, feeds on plants. This type of interaction does not necessarily kill the plant but can lead to damage that affects plant growth, reproduction, and survival. Herbivores consume plant material for nutrition, and plants often have evolved various mechanisms to resist or tolerate herbivora. Impact on the herbivore. Herbivores benefit from consuming plant material, which provides essential nutrients and energy for growth and reproduction. Impact on the plant. Herbivore can harm plants by reducing their biomass, causing stress, and potentially reducing reproductive output. In response, plants may develop defense mechanisms such as thorns, chemicals e.g., alkaloids, tannins, or tough leaves to deter herbivores. Co-evolutionary effects. Plants and herbivores often engage in an evolutionary arms race. Herbivores evolve to better exploit plant defenses, and plants evolve more sophisticated defenses to protect themselves. Example: cows grazing on grass or a caterpillar eating leaves are examples of herbivora. The cow benefits by gaining nutrition, while the grass suffers from consumption, which may affect its growth and reproductive potential. 3. Parasitism. Parasitism is an interaction where one organism, the parasite, benefits at the expense of the other organism, the host. The parasite derives nourishment or another benefit from the host, often harming the host in the process. Unlike predation, the parasite does not kill the host immediately but can weaken it over time. Impact on the parasite. The parasite benefits by obtaining food, shelter, or other resources from the host. This can be a long-term relationship that ensures the parasite's survival. Impact on the host. The host is harmed as the parasite consumes its resources. This can lead to reduced health, reproductive success, and even death if the parasitic load is high. Some parasites, however, do not cause immediate harm and may coexist with the host for long periods. Co-evolutionary effects. Hosts may evolve immune defenses against parasites, and parasites may evolve strategies to evade or suppress the host's immune response. Example: a tapeworm living in the intestines of a mammal is a classic example of parasitism. The tapeworm benefits from absorbing nutrients from the host, while the host experiences harm, including malnutrition and potential illness. 4. Allelopathy. Allelopathy refers to the chemical inhibition of one species by another. In this interaction, one plant produces chemicals that affect the growth, survival, or reproduction of surrounding plants. Allelopathy can be either harmful or beneficial, depending on the context. These chemicals are typically released into the soil or air and can inhibit seed germination, root growth, or other vital processes in nearby plants. Impact on the plant producing allelopathic chemicals. The plant benefits by reducing competition for resources such as light, water, and nutrients. Allelopathy can give the plant a competitive advantage in crowded environments. Impact on the recipient plants. Other plants in the vicinity may suffer from reduced growth, stunted development, or even death due to the chemicals released by the allelopathic plant. Co-evolutionary effects. Plants that are affected by allelopathy may evolve mechanisms to detoxify or avoid harmful chemicals, leading to a form of ecological and chemical warfare between plants. Example: black walnut trees, Juglans nigra, produce juglone, a chemical that inhibits the growth of many plants around them. This gives the walnut tree an advantage by reducing competition. Summary of key points. Predation. One species kills and consumes another, e.g., lions and zebras. Herbivora. Herbivores feed on plants, causing damage that can affect plant growth and reproduction, e.g., cows grazing on grass. Parasitism. Parasites benefit at the expense of the host, often causing harm, e.g., tapeworms in mammals. Allelopathy. Plants release chemicals to inhibit the growth of other plants, reducing competition, e.g., black walnut trees. Previous year questions with answers. Q. Which of the following is an example of a mutualistic relationship? Pollination by bees, where both bees and plants benefit. 2016. Q. Which interaction occurs when one species benefits at the expense of another, without necessarily killing it? Parasitism. 2017. Q. In which type of species interaction do plants produce chemicals that inhibit the growth of other plants? Allelopathy. 2018. Q. What type of interaction Previous year questions with answers. Q. Which of the following is an example of a mutualistic relationship? A. Pollination by bees, where both bees and plants benefit. 2016. Q. Which interaction occurs when one species benefits at the expense of another without necessarily killing it? A. Parasitism. 2017. Q. In which